Your wildest dreams, did you think that it could get to this level?
No.
5, 4.
I mean, I've dreamed of hitting game winners.
Lin puts it up.
I've dreamed of playing in the NBA. I had no idea it would be like this.
Bang! Jeremy Lin from downtown, and the Knicks take the lead. Amazing here at the Air Canada Centre.
And yes, he was just so small, 5'3" as a freshman and just a little boy. And yes, he was a very good basketball player, but he didn't play varsity as a freshman. When he really made the biggest jump was between his sophomore and junior year. Yeah, he was MVP of the league as a junior, and he had really, really improved in that span.
I got a lot of memories in here. The first one is obviously the state championship that we won in 2006, my senior year in high school.
Takes on Matter Day for the D2 state title. Hallie and Jeremy Lin tosses a smooth pass to Keaton Scott, who puts in 2 of his 11 points on the night.
We were 32-1 that year.
Lin led Palo Alto High School to an upset victory over nationally ranked Mater Dei in the Division II state title game, and also earned Northern California Division II Player of the Year honor.
Best feeling to go out on top. I mean, it is a dream come true.
Lin was the best player here, but yet colleges weren't clamoring for him. He just didn't fit the mold.
After my senior year, I was just dying to play in college, and I felt like I deserved it. I remember it was just a very long process, very frustrating, because I was going from Pac-10 school to Pac-10 school. I couldn't even get some Division III schools to look at me.
Harvard, not exactly a rich basketball school. How'd you go from Palo Alto up to Massachusetts?
There is Tommy Amaker, 1987 graduate of Duke, of course, first year at Harvard, 11th year overall as a head coach, 180 career wins.
With the hiring of former Michigan coach Tommy Amaker, Harvard was committed to a new era in their basketball program. Amaker was a star player at Duke University, then spent 9 years as an assistant coach to the legendary Mike Krzyzewski. The basketball landscape at Harvard was about to be transformed, and Jeremy was leading the charge.
We knew we had something pretty interesting, especially with Jeremy, because of how hard he worked, first of all, and how important basketball was to him. And then his talent. I think he was very much underrated, and I think he wanted to play in the style and the system, that we were going to implement, which is going to be high octane. And he's a hard-charging, aggressive, fearless player.
A steal by Jeremy Lin. He's going to go in for the easy jam.
Looking up ahead, Lin splits defenders and lays it in. All right, now.
My 15 years of coaching, my 4 years at Duke, I've never seen anybody work as diligent and as hard as Jeremy. He came in every day and put the work in. We watched film every day. We did work before and after practice. He busted his tail and he did all the things that we asked him to do.
Top of the circle, deep three, Jeremy Lin.
It seems the bigger the game, the better he played.
It's Big East basketball as the 13th ranked UConn Huskies host the Crimson of Harvard.
Now keep an eye on Jeremy Lin today. This is the type of player that can single-handedly help Crimson pull off a miraculous upset.
He was the best player on the floor. That's saying a lot when you're speaking of a team as the caliber of a Connecticut.
Wow, what a move on the runner off the glass. Timeout.
I think that's when everybody was like, all right, he's more than just like a good college player. Like, he just made a very good team look bad.
Casey had it knocked away and a steal by Dyson. Takes Lin to the basket and Lin blocks him at the rim.
What a block.
Scoring 30 points there, being forced to deal with in every way.
Back to Lin, top of the key, pump fake, drives in, throws it down with both hands. Oh, what a dunk by Jeremy Lin.
He kept us believing all the way through that we have a chance.
This guy's leading this team in every category, not just one. I mean, it wasn't like he was just a scorer. He was the best defensive player, he was the best rebounder, the best passer, and he pretty much could do it all.
It was just kind of like those moments where it was crunch time and winning time. Who's going to step up?
Back the other way comes McGurty.
into the front court. Drives down the right lane line, goes up with the right hand, lays it in. 3 seconds left. Harvard back the other way, down by a point. Jeremy Lin bumped in midcourt, lays in, he's gone. Harvard wins it. Harvard wins it. Unbelievable. Jeremy Lin, an unbelievable shot, and Harvard has run in the most incredible fashion.
When I got to college, it just like got crazy. It was just like, you chink, you know, can you even open your eyes? Can you see the scoreboard? You know, just like crazy stuff. Not just be like, dude, like what is going on?
Being in the spotlight brought Jeremy an inevitable byproduct: attention, both positive and negative.
I mean, people look at basketball players in terms of race. A lot of times, basketball is not considered an Asian sport here in America. Be playing on the road, specific gyms in the Ivy League, and they would yell racial slurs to them.
It was shocking to me to see racial taunts in the Ivy League because you think that at that level, certainly in this supposed, you know, very academically, progressively oriented group of schools full of Asian students on their campuses, that would be something that was unthinkable, but it wasn't.
And I just told them it's a sign of respect. Yeah, they're ignorant, but at the end of the day, they're trying to get in your head. You're thinking about what they're saying and not thinking about the game. I think we were just working out, and kind of was like, you know, Jake, can I speak to you for a moment?
He sat me down, like right outside the gym on the stairs, and he was like,
I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but I think you can be an NBA player. And he kind of looked at me like, you know, he just saw Santa Claus or something.
you know, I was just like, you're crazy. You know, I was like, dude, you are crazy. My mom, you know, would be like, you can make it to the NBA. I'm like, all right, okay, Mom.
Is this possible? I thought, oh, maybe he really have a chance.
Every year, 64 elite college seniors get an invite to the PIT. With pro contracts at stake, they battle it out in front of top NBA and international scouts.
We've had a lot of success here. We pulled J.J. Barea out of here. We gave Jeremy Lin his first shot playing on our summer league team.
He maybe averaged 10 points, 11 a game, maybe 4 or 5 assists, but what's that I'm saying? He was a player.
He really showed that he wanted to run the offense, you know, to penetrate, the kick out, the good vision, the improvisation, defending, steals, running the point, finding his players. That's quality basketball.
Jeremy Lin, Harvard University.
Showing his speed, showing some outside shots. If you have him as a backup role, I think he can contribute and make a team better.
He played very well here for, 3 days and caught the eye of some NBA teams.
Good evening and welcome to the 2010 draft at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
The first round we weren't expecting really much anything.
Tonight marks the realization of a dream for the best young players in the world.
We were just all real nervous, just because there's so many odds to overcome for him.
With the first pick, the Washington Wizards select John Wall from the University of Kentucky.
I was hopeful, but to be completely honest, I was like, let's just wait and see what happens. The things that I'm always interested in is race and the way discrimination, rears its ugly head. I was really interested in seeing if a team would take the plunge and take this Asian American player.
You know, it's funny, like the team that I had the highest chance to get drafted by was the Knicks, because I crushed that workout.
With the 39th pick in the 2010 NBA draft.
I was like, if I don't get drafted here, I probably won't get drafted.
The New York Knicks select.
I'm thinking like, oh, if I get drafted, what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna run around like hugging everyone. I'm gonna fly to New York tomorrow.
Landry Fields from Stanford University.
10 minutes after the draft ended, Donnie Nelson, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, personally called Jeremy and asked him to play on his summer league team.
I think everyone who goes undrafted, feels like they have to prove themselves because they do. And so, this is a chance where you get to play against people who are drafted every single night. and you get to compete with them in practice. And this is the best opportunity to, prove to all the other teams that you deserve to be drafted and you deserve to have that contract.
Lynn, surprise attack. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Sanders there. Lynn protected it home. Wow, nice play.
I hoped that Jeremy would make it because I had confidence in his ability, but I was skeptical in terms of him getting a real shot anywhere. And then I watched him play in the Summer League against John Wall.
I think we got a primetime matchup. John Wall, the #1 overall selection. Wall, creative on the reverse. How fast was that?
I talked to him the day before he was going to play against John Wall. And I told him, it's your one shot. There's no doubt that you can play against the guy.
Lynn getting up there.
He's going to be an NBA crowd favorite.
And got to work on the D. Lynn went right around him on his strong side.
The fact that he could do that against the #1 player in the NBA draft was tremendous.
Assessing constructive criticism.
No way.
Man.
If you explode on him, you'll have something. You're going to get your opportunity.
As he splits, spins, and oh no, ref, don't you do that.
They're on their feet.
Oh my God, this is about to be a melee in here. Oh
man. Hold it back, hold it back.
Oh, look at the crowd is going crazy.
He's opened some eyes, and if Lynn doesn't stick with the math, there are teams out there that are looking at him saying, boy, he fit our system very nicely.
Whether he's in the league this year or not,
he'll have some options.
He will have some options.
I'm just trying to play, and if someone's interested, I'd love to talk about different opportunities.
My son and he both were point guards, and they were on different AAU teams. And so I remember watching them play these AAU games in these local gyms, and I just happened to buy the team at that time with my partners. And one of the first things I told our GM was, look, I know this kid. My son knows this kid. He's really talented. We ought to give him a shot. I think they thought we were a little crazy, but we did. And when you're the owner, you get to do things like that.
The Warriors' IQ and basketball IQ just went up a few points. They signed Harvard guard Jeremy Lin.
I called Jeremy to tell him. He didn't even believe me. He was like, stop playing, man. Are you serious? I said, man, it's for real. Go down to the practice facility tomorrow and sign the contract. It's good. And he was like, man, I'll call you back.
I was like, I picked my little brother up. I'm like, I'm signing with Golden State. I ran to the next room. I picked my other brother up. I'm like, I'm signing with Golden State.
I can't even really describe it because we grew up fantasizing about the NBA, and the fact that we grew up rooting for the Warriors made it just even that much crazier.
Lin has a chance to make history as the first Asian American NBA player in the modern era.
When he got picked up by Warrior, that moment we think this is what God wanted him to do.
My dream was to play in the NBA, and now I get to do it for the Warriors, the team that I grew up watching. It's more than a dream come true.
We know what that's about.
Jeremy Lin, Palo Alto High School's own Warrior rookie out of Harvard.
It got pretty loud and people were standing up and clapping, and I just remember looking around.
Grew up a Warrior fan, signed by his hometown team. It's a great story.
It really is. It was so emotional for me to finally get there, for me to finally be there, and I couldn't envision myself there even a year ago.
When I saw him guarding Kobe, I was like, wow. We've been watching this guy ever since we were little. He's there.
Missing, Lee with the rebound. I love what Lin did, didn't foul him.
Ready to return for the Grizzlies. Williams. Lin's got an open look and then threw it to Battier inexplicably.
Welcome to the NBA.
I hate when everyone's looking at me. I hate the spotlight. How am I gonna be myself when every time I touch the ball, everyone expecting me to do some crazy, miraculous play? People could see it on my face. Like, I was out there playing, but I wasn't playing my brand of basketball. I was scared, nervous, and just like a lot of questions and a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty floating around.
The ingredient that's missing is the fact there was a player named Monte Ellis and Steph Curry ahead of him.
You know, coaches need to win at the NBA level, and so Keith Smart, who was our coach at the time, really didn't play him a lot, and this is how these things happen.
At first, I was like, he knows I can play. He knows I can play. And then I wasn't playing at all, and then I was like reading all these articles like, oh, he's just here to sell jerseys and increase revenue. And I was like, maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's all I'm good for, you know?
I think we have to be honest with ourselves. There was definitely a marketing element to it. I mean, he's a hometown guy. Bay Area has a significant Asian American population, and the way it played out, you know, people went bonkers for that. A lot of what America perceives as Asian is very foreign. Yao Ming was kind of a quintessential example of that, right? And he's like, he's from China, he's from the East, and he's coming to our shores. And whereas Jeremy is like homegrown. He's homegrown Asian American kid from the suburbs. He grew up with hoop dreams just like the rest of us. Seeing a kid like Jeremy on the court in a Warriors uniform, you know, that's a huge impact.
You know, he was happy to be playing for his hometown team, but we weren't satisfied with just being in the NBA.
The Warriors management sent Jeremy down to the D-League, the NBA's version of a minor league farm system. He was faced with a harsh reality.
The D-League is one of the toughest things when it comes to a basketball career. D-League, you know, it's a showcase. People don't care how many wins you have. All they care about is your stats. It's all about you, and you have teammates, but they're not really on your team. You know, they'll take your job if they can.
You cut off, and then you're the point guard? Yeah. You pass it to me. Okay. And then just wait out there.
What I told him when he went to the D-League was simple: go kill it. Go and crush the D-League and let's get called up. Because it's a battle. You know, it's a battle. Right here.
I was like, man, like if I play bad, this may be it.
Jeremy Lin drives against Squeaky, tries to get to the rack, throws it away.
I couldn't really sleep because I was so stressed. I called my brother. I was like, I'm tripping right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I think at a certain point, it felt insurmountable for him. So he was not in a good place.
Lin needs to settle down.
Yeah, he's running out of gas.
Jeremy desperately wanted to prove that he belonged. But in his rookie year, he was sent to the D-League 3 times.
I think getting sent back and forth and the constant yo-yo effect of being taken up by the Warriors, sent back down, the cumulative effect of it weighed heavily on him.
You know, I'm here right now for a reason, and you know, God works in very different ways.
Stay up! Stay up! Come here!
You know, I thought with each game his confidence grew, and you could see it almost with each possession up the floor. And after his 20-game stint, I think he came out of that D-League experience really believing that he could have an impact in the NBA.
It was tough because we knew he could play. It was just frustrating because so many people were so ready to just bury him and give up on him.
It's hard for me because I really love basketball. Like, I love my dream. My dream is playing in the NBA, and I wanted it so bad that I couldn't imagine finally getting it and then losing it right away.
Jeremy.
At 12:01 Friday morning, the NBA locked out its players after failing to reach a new collective bargaining agreement.
A lockout has a very large impact on a lot of people.
The current offer that is on the table is not one that we can accept.
It could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months.
We're already hearing this is going to be a very long lockout.
We're about to go into the nuclear winter of the NBA.
The collective bargaining process has completely broken down.
We're all in this together.
And if these players don't get them what they want, they're not going to play.
I don't think it's resolved. I think it's bad advice.
I actually secretly wanted the lockout to continue because it gave me extra time to get better.
We are willing to continue discussions on a potential compromise.
There are some owners who are willing to forego the season.
We want to play basketball, that's what we do. And right now, we don't have an opportunity to go out and do what we do best.
If we need to lose an entire season, we should go ahead and do it.
And so I knew the longer the lockout went, the better player I would become.
We're warming up. We're just warming up. Boom. That's it. That one was perfect. You good? Okay. As he gets better as a shooter over time, it's going to be like money, money, money. He's only going to get better, and he's awfully good now. Don't you think? That's the other part, getting into this cranium to get him to believe, like I believe in him.
Merry Christmas, basketball fans. The NBA is coming back. Fans are getting what they want. Owners and players reached a tentative agreement to end the 149-day lockout.
We didn't have a center that we felt good about, and we needed to create enough salary cap space to go make an offer. And in order to do so, we had to cut somebody. It was one of the hardest decisions that we could have had to make.
They called me up midway through in the middle of a drill. They're like, hey, you gotta go upstairs. I went in there and the general manager and assistant general manager were like, we gotta let you go. We're trying to get DeAndre Jordan.
He had worked tremendously hard preseason. So I was like, man, this is a blow. I mean, this is a kick in the stomach right here.
They're like, oh, we wish you the best of luck. I was like, thanks.
Within 48 hours, he was picked up by the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, we were hoping no one else picked him up. Yeah, we were interested in him for quite a long time, had been to his games at Harvard. At the time, we just added him and said, hey, let's bring him in and see what happens.
I went to Houston. There were 6 point guards there. I couldn't even get reps in practice. I don't understand. I was backup point guard at Golden State, and now they're gonna bring me here and I'm 6th string.
When the Rockets picked him up, that was probably the bottom of the barrel for him. Sunday night, we were in fellowship, and I remember Jeremy said, hey, I gotta go. I gotta catch my flight to Houston. He was standing at the door, and he had tears in his eyes because the pressure was really getting to him. He just didn't know what his future was gonna hold. And I remember he turned to me, and he says, I don't know if I can keep doing this.
After only 12 days with the Rockets, he was cut again. It was Christmas Day.
So, all right, obviously a lot has been happening in the last couple weeks. What's going through your mind and how you feeling today?
Christmas morning, I was waived, flew back home on Christmas night, and within 2 weeks, I had been waived twice by 2 teams who said they still wanted me. 10 a.m. this morning, found out the Knicks had picked me up. And that's gonna be my first game with the Knicks. It's gonna be at Oracle Arena. You know, I'm literally going into this game tomorrow night. I have no idea who my teammates are. I've never played with them one time. I have no idea what plays we run. I don't know a single play. And you know, I haven't even talked to the coach yet. So it's gonna be interesting.
And you see Jeremy Lin coming in. They just signed him today. Went to walk through at shoot around today. Lin, who played with Golden State last year sparingly, played in the D-League. And it's a nice ovation.
It's a great opportunity for me to be able to just play. And I think for me right now, the one thing I really care about is just an opportunity to play. I'm gonna give my best effort, and if I go down, I'm gonna make sure I go down doing it my way, which is God's way. And so it's the night before, and I got to get my bags ready. And after the game tomorrow, we head to LA, Sacramento, and then I'm off to New York for good. So it was like my second or third home game, and I hadn't even been in the game yet. And I had tried to get in the gym, and they stopped me. And they were like, "Oh, sorry, this is the player's entrance." I was like, "I know." And he looked at me confused, and then so I was looking at him confused. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you a trainer?" And I just kind of was just like standing there. Then another security guard came over and like whispered, like, "I think he plays on the team." 5 games go by, and I'm not playing at all. Nothing was really making sense to me. If you bring me in and you don't let me play in practice, let alone the games, then why am I here? Well, I felt like, I could help you, and I was watching us lose.
The Knicks have lost 4 straight games.
And the losing streak continues. Knicks have now lost 6 in a row.
Jeremy's original 2-year contract was about to expire, which meant that if the Knicks let him go, he'd be dropped with no pay, and this time, for good.
During practice, Jeremy would stand right beside me on the side of the court and not really get in even in practice.
I pretty much saw the writing on the wall. I was like, I'm pretty much done. And like, I was resigned to the fact that I was gonna get let go.
Standing on the side of the court, he comes up to him and he goes, "Hey coach, I've got a question." I go, "What is it, Jeremy?"
"I'm taking a taxi everywhere. Should I ship my car out here?" And he was like, probably not. I was like, oh hell, I'm gonna get waived.
And so I went and talked to Glenn. I said, "Glenn, what do you think?" And he goes, "Well, we haven't really seen him. We don't know." And I said, "You know what? Let me try to see if we can get him in a couple games before Tuesday and just see what happens."
They're like, "Look, you're gonna play tonight. I want you to go out there. I don't want you to do too much." I was like, "Okay, I won't."
8 points for Garnett. Lynn coughs it up. Bradley to the rim.
I didn't do too much. I pretty much did nothing. I played horrible. I missed shots. I had turnovers. I had bad fouls.
Lynn reached in.
I thought at most I had one more chance the next game. I was like, okay, I just screwed the Boston game. I probably will get cut, but they may give me one more chance tomorrow. We get in at like 2 in the morning. I go over to Landry's place. He's like, "This is my couch," and his couch is like this big. I'm like, dude, I have my head hanging off of one end and my legs hanging off the other. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get a good night's rest? Like, I might play tomorrow. This might be my last chance. It's funny, this season was the only season in the last like 11, 12 years since the last lockout where people have played back-to-back-to-back games. And New York only had one stretch of back-to-back-to-back games. And if we had more days to rest, I'm not sure if I would have been able to play in that game.
I prayed that day, and my prayer is, God, if this is your will for him to play NBA, you need to show us.
There's Morrow knocks it down. Williams sets himself, puts up the 3, and knocks that one down. The Knicks find themselves down by 10 already.
Yeah, Mike Lindy's coming in.
Jeremy Lin, and you're a pretty big ovation.
He didn't look tentative. He didn't look overly concerned. He looked like, dude, I'm about to go do it. If they cut me, they cut me. If I don't never play another NBA game, so be it. I'm going to play like Jeremy Lin can play.
Jeremy Lin drives and finishes. Nice play from Lin. Here's the strip. Lynn throws it ahead to Tony Douglas. Up for the layup, banks it in. Here comes Shepard to Lynn. Lynn flips it up and puts it in. Jeremy Lin once again.
He finished the half with like 10, 4, and 4. Like good numbers for a half. That was such a higher high than like anything he's like done. So I was like ecstatic at that point. The second half, he just went nuts.
Driving to the basket, does it again. And a chance for a three-point play as he got hit. Bumped by Petro, gets to the rim, count it, and a foul. He is in one special night become a Garden favorite. Will it be remembered?
He was stringing together like 3 crossover moves in a row, like things he's never done before.
Splits the defense again, gets to the rim, pucks it in, and a foul! Wow!
And the crowd on their feet paying homage to this man.
Clyde, even it looks like his teammates don't believe what they're seeing.
I was just so emotional. There's no way they can cut me now. I just had the game of my life.
Again, the crossover, the basket, puts it up, puts it in. Jeremy Lin with 25. And this crowd is going crazy.
Penetrating, manipulating, devastating the Nets.
He's the hero from Harvard as the Knicks get a much-needed victory on the game of his life. And he is swarmed by his ecstatic teammates and a jubilant crowd here at Madison Square Garden.
I'm just thankful to God for this opportunity to be able to come out here and play with this team and this organization.
Oh, I was just like so high on emotion. I was so happy. I was sitting in the shower, replaying all the times in the D-League, all these flashbacks of these tough times I had to go through. And I remember I got out, I saw my family and they were all smiling. I called my agent and he was yelling at me on the phone, you know, like, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. That was kind of like the much needed breakthrough that I was hoping for.
Clyde, Saturday night, Madison Square Garden sounded as loud as we've heard it all season. He was magnificent. You just hope from a Knicks standpoint that he can run the offense as well as he ran it on Saturday.
I just really wasn't nervous for my first start. And, you know, usually I would be, but I don't know why. I just felt really comfortable and it was just a supernatural peace. And it's one of those things that, you know, I can't really explain.
For Jeremy's first NBA start, Amari Stoudemire was out for personal reasons, and Carmelo Anthony suffered an injury in the first half.
Carmelo Anthony comes up hobbling. He's in a lot of discomfort. He can't move right now.
The Knicks desperately needed a leader, and Jeremy would answer the call.
Liz gets around Jefferson, looking, and backs it in. He had a couple of those the other night.
We were running pick and roll after pick and roll after pick and roll.
Liz inside to Jeffries.
I didn't know how he would follow up that New Jersey game because it was such a high, but he just kept making ridiculous layups. He was hitting jumpers.
They didn't know my tendencies. They didn't know my weak spots, my strong spots, my sweet spots. They had never seen me play.
Keeps it alive. Lin has to put it up. A three-pointer as the shot clock expired. Jeremy Lin with his second consecutive career night. He is the new starting point guard of the Knicks.
You know, there's so many little variables with every step of the way being something I can't control. You know, Houston waves me a day late. If they waved me a day earlier, I would have been past the waiver wire. If Shumpert gets hurt that morning, the Knicks pick me up because they had worked me out the year before. You know, it happens to be D'Antoni who's coaching here, whose offense is tailor-made for me. And all of a sudden things just go crazy.
He's averaging 26.5 points a game in the last 2 games.
I don't think that's going to continue.
Obviously, that's not going to continue.
And then we hit the road and go to Washington. And And it's like John Wall again, you know? Like, I played against John Wall in the summer league, and now it's like a rematch. Now I'm playing against him again.
Lin on the drive, gets inside. Left-handed, great play from Jeremy Lin. Breaks it down the floor and throws it down with the left hand.
I was like, dang, he kind of dunked on my head. I was like, I'm gonna try to get him back. A couple possessions later, they messed up their coverage. I had a free lane, and I just tried to take the rim down. When I saw that opening, I just tried to dunk it as hard as I could. I don't know, it's just, there's been so much pain and so many trying times, and now they get to play. I'm just letting it all out, man. I'm just letting it all out on the floor. After the game, I just look back and I'm like, man, that was so fun.
There's a great story that's brewing, and it's Jeremy Lin. And this week, contracts are guaranteed for the rest of the year. He's been balling out, saying, show that man his money.
The things that's for real is what his vision, which won't change, his speed, which won't change, his knowledge of the game, which won't change. I just don't see it changing. You know, now, again, please don't quote me on that one.
Now he's on the scouting.
Yeah, he is now.
Let's see if he's in the scouting report for the Lakers on Friday night at the Garden.
Jeremy Lin, are you following that story at all?
No idea. I know who he is, but I don't really know what's going on too much with him.
Are you surprised at the production that Lin's had over the past week?
I don't even know what he's done. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I'm reading all these quotes about what he's saying. Kobe Bryant has no idea who Jeremy Lin is. I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you do that? I didn't say anything about you. I never talked bad about you. So when I heard that, I was like, here we go.
Would you consider guarding him if he's having one of those games?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
There is a new man in town. May the best man Lin.
Over under 23 points for Lin tonight, Bomani. So against the Lakers with those trees they've got inside, it won't be so Linsane tonight.
Kobe or Lin? Who scores more tonight?
I'm going with my guy, Jeremy Lin, right here.
I thought you might do that.
All he does is Lin, David.
Jeremy Lin in just 1 week has turned things around for his career and for the New York Knicks. It's one of those nights and it's one of those stories where it really is why we love sports.
I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I was like, I'm just going to be really, really aggressive. Everything was going well. Everything was going down.
Lin puts it up, puts it in. Terrific start. And listen to this hard crowd. Lin likes the open floor, spinning, puts it up and backs it in. Sensational play for Jeremy Lin.
Electrifying the Garden again. He's got 18 points.
Welcome to our studios for the Jeremy Lin Toyota Halftime Show.
Jeremy Lin was superb, 7 of 12 from the field, 18 points, 5 assists. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers struggling shooting the ball, but they're only down by 8. Bryant, a couple of fakes, gonna put it up and knocks it down.
Struck by Lin, stolen by Lin. Left side shot, left-handed layup.
Bryant spinning, difficult shot for some.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant again. He is starting to get in one of those zones right now. Gasol is on Lin. Puts up the two-pointer. Puts it in. Jeremy Lin with 31.
And a rebound by Jeffries.
Lin for 3. Bang!
And my favorite play of this whole year was when I hit that 3 in the corner. Just because that game had so much hype, and that shot was kind of the dagger that put the game out of reach for them.
already cut twice this season, sleeping on a teammate's couch because he had nowhere else to go, and suddenly Jeremy Lin is the toast of Manhattan.
This is it right here. This is my dream, and I'm just thankful to God, man, because this is my dream being lived out, and I'm so thankful for that.
Jeremy Lin, 38 points. It's the most by a Knick this season.
Linsanity continues here at Madison Square Garden.
It's indescribable, really. It's something I've never seen before.
I didn't foresee this coming. You know, it's unbelievable.
This is like how weird I am. I was like, I'm gonna go off this game, and at the end of the interview, they're gonna be like, oh, so do you think Kobe knows who you are now?
Jeremy, you knew somebody was gonna ask you this, but do you think Kobe knows who you are now?
If they ask me that question, I'm gonna be like, who the hell is Kobe? That's what I was gonna say. And then I like thought about it, and I was like, I prayed about it. I was like, you know, what would Jesus do? And I'm like, Jesus probably wouldn't say that. So I was like, I'm gonna change my answer.
Well, you guys had to ask Kobe.
Jeremy Lin's 89 points, the most by any player in his first 3 pro starts since the ABA-NBA merger.
Outside to Lin, crosses over Ridnour, and hits. Jeremy Lin up top to Fields. Lin a whirling dervish right for the rim, zigzagging to the cup. The Knicks have stolen one. It's their 5th straight win, their longest of the season.
I knew about Jeremy before you did.
Are you taking credit for Linsanity? It kind of feels like you are a little bit.
He's an underdog that came up. He does it the right way. Can he play in the NBA? Yeah, of course. He's got all the tools, and he's playing really well. That's not a fluke how he's playing.
They had this one dude courtside who was just yelling at me the whole game. He's like, you're a one-week wonder. You know, you're not gonna win this game. You suck. We were playing bad. We were tired, and I was like, man, this is gonna be a tough one to pull out. We were down 5 with a minute left. You know, got this huge steal, layup, down 3. They're coming down. We get a stop.
The and one at Amir Johnson, who I believe had 5 blocks to that point, ties the game.
Lin fakes the 3, drives, goes in for the layup. It's good, and a foul. Lin can tie it with a free throw.
They come down, miss shot, and now we got the ball with like 20 seconds left.
Lin to Shumpert. Shumpert, pull-up jump shot. Back to Walko, Chandler the rebound. And the Knicks will hold it for the final shot as the 24-second clock is shut off. Mike D'Antoni won't call timeout and let the Raptors set up their D. The crowd on its feet here at the Air Canada Center. Lin puts it up. Bang! Jeremy Lin from downtown, and the Knicks take the lead. Amazing here at the Air Canada Center. 10 seconds, everyone standing, 20,000 in Toronto. Get out of his way! Let him just take counter on himself. 3 seconds, Lin sizes him up straight away. 3, buries it. 0.5 remaining. Linsanity continues.
I'm just glad it went like this so we can calm the Linsanity down a little bit.
We couldn't get a stop.
That's all I dream about, is hitting the game winner and then doing some cool little dorky pose and then walking off. You know, that's like all I did growing up. I always wanted to do that. I wanted to know what that felt like.
This whole thing is showing how unprepared we were to deal with this culture in this context.
Floyd Mayweather, Jeremy Lin tweets. All the hype is because he's Asian. Black players do what he does every night, don't get the same praise.
First of all, what he said, I think, is racist. Not only can he compete and make it in the NBA, the guy's tearing it up and is breaking records, you knucklehead.
Check it out. He does the math to win. Yeah. For many years, we've had many stereotypes about Asian Americans, and now they're all kind of coming out like there's no big deal. They are a big deal.
And that'll do it. The winning streak comes to an end in disappointing fashion. And the New Orleans Hornets and Jeremy Lin and the Knicks, their first loss of the Jeremy Lin era.
Now it's easier for me, you know? Someone will say something racist, and I'll laugh, and I'll think it's funny. Everything I get now, like all the negative stuff, I'll just put it in one place and turn it into positive stuff so that I could use it the right way. And when I play out of anger, I play horrible. And so I had to learn how to control my emotions and then just like let it go.
因为在 NBA 打球已经有很繁重的比赛的压力，媒体的压力，观众的压力，在这一方面，这些都是由自然而生的。不管你喜欢不喜欢，不管你考虑不考虑，这些东西都是存在的。所以我认为希望我希望将来大家把这件事情，把有华人球员去挑战 NBA 作为一件比较正常的事情。因为我感到，当你在突然一下子成为一个明星的时候，肯定会有很多的事情发生，很多的人出现，所以在这个时候呢，我希望他更多的和家人待在一起，因为家人是对自己最大的、最无私、最大的支持，只有家人是会给你最大和最无私的支持。
For the last 2 years, he was never enjoying himself out there. But in that New Jersey game, when things were rolling, for the first time, he was just having fun, living his dream. I think that was the best thing from Linsanity.
The big question now is, can Linsanity continue?
I don't know how long it's going to last, but right now, I don't care.
Lynn out of the corner for three. Got them all!
Anyone who said they saw this coming
is lying.
There's a lot more that he can do than anybody knew, and it comes down to confidence.
Jeremy on the drive. For Jeremy Lin. Got the bang in the bucket.
He's got that swag. He has that it right now.
This transcends sports. It really does.
He has shined and evolved into the best story in sports today.
Pressure in the backcourt. Oh, and Lin will steal two off the basket. Lin over Dirk. Oh! How good is this?
I'm just out there having fun and playing the game. I can have bad games and they may not like me or they may boo me. There's a lot more important things in life than just basketball, because at the end of the day, basketball is just a game.
The show continues on Broadway. It's a story with many spokes. An Ivy Leaguer, Asian American athlete, guy off the end of the bench, speaks for everyone who didn't get their chance. It's only a couple of weeks, but in New York City and on basketball's big stage, this guy has hit it out of the park.
What happened to me, the story that happened to me, I mean, it wasn't like I knew I could just come off the bench and do that. I really didn't. I thought I could play at this level and I thought I could be a good player, but I didn't feel like that would happen. And some of those experiences out there when I was on the court, I felt like I was being controlled by something else. I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Some of the plays that I made, some of the wins that we had were just so out of this world that I still have to pinch myself to really believe it.
As Jeremy ends one chapter and begins another, the road ahead will continue to test his perseverance, but his faith will forever guide him.
The thing I had to learn last year is a perfect plan doesn't mean that it ends up the way you want it to end up. In the past, if you asked me what a perfect plan, I'd be like, I get what I want, I get my dream, I play well. Now I have a different perspective on what a perfect plan is. You don't get better if you win all the time. You know, you get better when you lose. You improve when you lose. You look at yourself more when you lose. So if you learn a lot, or if I learn a lot, if I grow a lot, if I become a better person through tough times, that's part of his perfect plan. That's part of his perfect will. I was going through all my insecurities and uncertainty and lack of confidence. I was losing focus on God. I was focusing on all these other things, like my job and what other people thought of me and what the reporters were writing. You know, over time, I was able to check myself and kind of get my focus back. And I think God did something supernatural in me, something that I couldn't do on my own, something that I may never be able to recreate. So I think in that instance, you know, it's just learning to fight to constantly live and play for God. And when I do that, I'll be able to walk on water.